You know, for centuries, people have reported seeing mysterious balls of electricity hovering in the air. So where do these anomalies come from? And what do they mean?
Now to the extraordinary images tonight, the scare for visitors at Yellowstone National Park, the very close call with a geyser raining down rock and debris.
What if the ground beneath you suddenly moved sideways, or a sand fountain erupted dangerously close to your car? These are the kinds of rare, jaw-dropping moments that can leave anyone speechless. And believe it or not, they've been caught on camera. Get ready for some of the most incredible natural events ever captured on video. From a mysterious sand geyser exploding out of nowhere in Saudi Arabia to the rare sight of land visibly moving during a devastating earthquake in Nepal, these moments will leave anyone stunned. But that's not all. There's an ice break on Lake Michigan that's mesmerizing, a rainbow cloud that looks straight out of a dream, and even ball lightning that still has scientists scratching their heads. These are the kinds of once-in-a-billion occurrences that show just how powerful and unpredictable nature can be. Prepare for a countdown of some of the rarest and most unbelievable moments ever caught on camera. Number 1. The Sand Fountain of Al-Aqsa. Picture this. It's a normal day in Al-Aqsa City, Saudi Arabia, when out of nowhere, a giant 9-meter sand fountain bursts from the ground. Cars are passing by, and suddenly there's this massive sand geyser shooting up dangerously close to the road. Luckily, someone caught the whole thing on camera, shocking everyone. Even Aramco's geological experts rushed in to figure out what had happened, but they couldn't completely explain this bizarre event. This rare phenomenon is known as a sand geyser or sand blow. It usually happens after an earthquake or some kind of seismic activity which shakes things up underground and forces sand to the surface. But what makes this interesting is that NASA scientists think something similar might be happening on Mars. They believe seasonal changes could be caused by sand geysers, where frozen carbon dioxide turns into gas and erupts from the surface. Could this strange sand fountain in Al-Aqsa be a clue to what's happening on Mars? Whatever the cause, this incredible moment is a reminder that nature still has plenty of surprises up its sleeve. And thanks to quick-thinking bystanders, it's all on camera. Number 2. Visible lateral ground movement. In 2015, Nepal was hit by one of the most devastating earthquakes of recent times. With a magnitude of 7.8, it caused nearly 9,000 deaths and destroyed hundreds of thousands of buildings. But what makes this earthquake especially unforgettable is that something extremely rare was caught on camera: visible lateral ground movement. As the earthquake shook the ground, huge sections of land moved sideways right before everyone's eyes. Normally, we don't see this kind of horizontal movement, even during major quakes. But here, the earth was sliding sideways, causing even more destruction. Buildings collapsed, roads buckled, and people watched in terror as the ground beneath them shifted. After the main quake, 2 massive aftershocks followed, both stronger than 6.0 on the Richter scale, making the situation even worse. But it was that moment of visible ground movement that left everyone stunned, a jaw-dropping display of just how powerful and unpredictable nature can be. Number 3. Ice breaking away from Lake Michigan after deep freeze. Chicago's harsh winter this year has created some amazing sights, and none more fascinating than the frozen surface of Lake Michigan. After weeks of freezing temperatures, the lake was covered in a thick layer of ice, drawing people to witness the beautiful winter scene. But as temperatures slowly started to rise, a dramatic change happened. In a viral video taken by WGN-TV's weather camera, a time-lapse shows the ice slowly breaking away from the Chicago shoreline and drifting into the lake. The stunning footage shows large chunks of ice splitting off and floating away, creating a strangely satisfying view of nature thawing. While people in Chicago prepare for the next cold wave, this rare look at Lake Michigan shedding its icy cover is a reminder of how quickly nature can change from calm beauty to something more dangerous. The deep freeze may be over for now, but for those who saw it, this was a winter moment they won't forget. Number 4. Strange rainbow cloud. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing a rainbow, but it's not in the usual form of an arc after a rainstorm. Instead, the colors blend with a cloud, lighting it up in a way that feels almost magical. This rare event, known as the Chinese Pileus cloud, or iridescent Pileus cloud, left everyone who saw it in awe. This happens when sunlight is scattered by tiny water droplets or ice crystals in the cloud, creating a stunning rainbow effect. The term iridescence comes from the Latin word iris, meaning rainbow, which perfectly captures this beautiful, fleeting moment. While these clouds can appear anywhere in the world, the conditions have to be just right for it to happen. The sun needs to be low in the sky, and the water droplets need to be the perfect size to scatter the light. Seeing a rainbow cloud like this is a true one-in-a-billion moment, and it reminds us of the unexpected beauty that nature can reveal when we least expect it. Number 5. Bull elk. Shedding an antler. Imagine being in the right place at the right time to see a bull elk shed its antlers. Sure, elk lose their antlers every year after the breeding season, but it happens so quickly and unpredictably that most people never get to witness it. But one lucky camera caught it on film, and it's a truly special sight. Male elk, or bulls, drop their antlers when their testosterone levels drop after mating season. But that's just the start of the fascinating process. What's amazing is how fast elk antlers grow back. In fact, they're among the fastest growing bones in the animal kingdom. As soon as they shed their old antlers, new ones start growing right away, and during summer, they can grow almost an inch a day. The new antlers are covered in a soft velvet layer, full of blood vessels that help them grow. By the time fall comes around, the antlers are strong, fully formed, and ready to be used in battles for mates. This rare footage of a bull shedding an antler is a reminder of the incredible cycle of nature. It's not just about losing the antler, it's about the whole process starting over again, showing us how nature's designs are both simple and extraordinary. Number 6. The tidal road in France. Now picture this, a road that vanishes underwater twice a day. That's what happens at the Passage du Gois in France, a unique tidal road that links the mainland to the island of Noirmoutier. This road is over 4 kilometers long, but when the tide comes in, it disappears under about 13 feet of water. It's like watching magic, but it's just nature doing its thing. People love to visit this unusual spot, but it's not without its risks. If someone doesn't time it right, they could find themselves stuck on the road as it gets swallowed up by the rising tide. Luckily, there are tall emergency towers along the route where people can wait safely until the water recedes. What's interesting about the Passage du Gois is how it shows us the raw power of the ocean. One moment it's a solid, drivable road, and the next it's completely submerged, hidden beneath the waves. And then just like that, it reappears when the tide goes out. It's more than just a road. It's a dramatic reminder of how the land and sea are constantly interacting in ways we rarely get to see. Number 7. Rare ball lightning. Ball lightning is one of those strange things that have puzzled people for centuries. It's so rare that it's only been caught on video a few times. This weird phenomenon looks like a glowing ball of light, usually seen during thunderstorms. The balls can be as small as 1 centimeter or as big as 100 centimeters, floating around and moving unpredictably, not even affected by wind. They come in different colors, like red, orange, yellow, and even blue. While they might look cool, they can be dangerous. Some reports say ball lightning has entered buildings, started fires, and even hurt people. Because it's so rarely seen or recorded, ball lightning remains a mystery. Scientists have tried to recreate it in labs, but no one has been able to fully explain what causes these glowing orbs. There are many theories, but none have been proven yet. Whether it's just a weird natural event or something more mysterious, ball lightning continues to fascinate people. For the lucky or unlucky few who witness it, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, both mesmerizing and potentially dangerous. Number 8. The sky sucking water from a dam. In a rare and strange moment caught on camera, something truly bizarre happened at Hanumana Dam in Bihar, India. It looked like the sky itself was pulling water up from the dam, almost like a giant smoky cylinder reaching down. This wasn't a regular waterspout or tornado. It was something far more mysterious and visually stunning. The clouds seemed to touch the water, making it look like the sky was drinking from the dam. Dams are usually seen as marvels of human engineering, built to control water for our use. But this moment made it feel like nature was showing off a hidden power. Onlookers were left speechless and confused, witnessing something they couldn't fully explain. It's these kinds of unexpected moments that remind us how little we know about nature's wonders and the forces at work beyond our control. Number 9. Mountain collapse in Myanmar. A heartbreaking tragedy unfolded in Myanmar when a mountain collapse, triggered by the remnants of Typhoon Yagi, caused massive flooding and landslides. The official death toll is at least 160 people, but many believe the actual number is much higher, with some reports suggesting over 230 deaths, especially in the Mandalay region. The collapse hit hardest among migrant workers and impoverished ethnic communities, especially those working in Myanmar's jade mines. With heavy monsoon rains making the area even more unstable, these vulnerable people were caught in the disaster. Rescue workers, including police and firefighters, braved dangerous conditions to recover bodies from the thick mud, but the continuing rain kept the risk high. This terrible event also shines a light on the harsh and unsafe working conditions faced by many in Myanmar, especially in the mines during the rainy season. It's a grim reminder of how deadly and unpredictable nature can be, especially for those already struggling to survive. Number 10. Tourists flee as Yellowstone geyser erupts. Yellowstone National Park, famous for its amazing geysers and stunning views, became the scene of chaos when an unexpected hydrothermal eruption sent tourists running for safety. It was a calm July day, and visitors were enjoying the beauty of Biscuit Basin when out of nowhere, a giant 100-foot plume of steam, rocks, and debris shot into the air. There was no warning, and the crowd quickly scattered, rushing down the boardwalk as steam and dust filled the area. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the blast damaged parts of the wooden walkway. While scientists are working to better understand these eruptions, they're still very hard to predict. For the tourists that day, it was a shocking and unforgettable reminder of how powerful and unpredictable nature can be, both thrilling and terrifying at the same time. Number 11. Pollen burn at Spanish Park. In a Spanish park, people were treated to a stunning sight as a controlled burn of poplar tree pollen created an almost magical scene. The video, which quickly went viral, shows the fire brigade of Castilla y León setting the top layer of grass on fire. But here's what was fascinating. The flames only burned the pollen and left the grass underneath untouched. As the fire spread across the park, it looked like something out of a movie, with people calling it the most well-behaved fire they'd ever seen. The video has been viewed over 6 million times online, with viewers amazed at how carefully the fire was managed. This happens because poplar pollen is highly flammable, and when handled safely, it creates this beautiful visual effect. The clip became a sensation on social media, with people marveling at how something as destructive as fire could be so controlled and leave the rest of the park unharmed. Number 12. Lava entering the ocean. There's nothing quite like watching lava flow into the ocean, and this rare footage from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano gives a stunning, up-close view of it. As the molten lava hits the cool waters of the Pacific, it creates huge clouds of steam, with fire and water clashing in an incredible display of nature's power. Kilauea, while smaller than its big brother Mauna Loa, is one of the most active volcanoes on Earth. It constantly releases lava that slowly makes its way down to the ocean, helping to shape Hawaii's coastline over the centuries. Seeing lava pour into the sea, especially around twilight or at night, is an unforgettable sight. The glowing orange lava against the dark sky is mesmerizing. But it's not without danger. Getting too close can be risky. The ground near the lava can be unstable, and the area is filled with toxic gases and superheated water. Hawaii's Big Island is famous for this volcanic activity, and this interaction between lava and ocean is somewhat common there. Number 13. Freshwater meets seawater. One of the most fascinating sights in nature is when freshwater meets the ocean, and this footage beautifully captures that magical moment. In places like the Fraser River in Vancouver, Canada, you can see the clear divide between the river's muddy brown water and the deep blue of the ocean. Because the fresh water is less dense, it floats on top of the salty seawater, making it look like they're not mixing at all. But beneath the surface, something interesting is happening. The salt from the seawater binds to the particles in the river water, causing them to sink, and slowly the fresh water mixes with the ocean. This process helps create estuaries, some of the most fertile and important ecosystems on Earth. These areas provide homes for all kinds of wildlife, from fish to birds to plants. They're beautiful and full of life, but also delicate, facing threats from pollution and climate change. Number 14. Beirut Port Explosion. The Beirut Port explosion in August 2020 was one of the most shocking disasters in recent times. A fire broke out at the port, igniting 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate that had been sitting there dangerously for years. The result? A massive explosion claimed the lives of 218 people, injured thousands, and caused total devastation across the city. In a video taken during the explosion, you can see someone escaping death in just a few seconds, caught in the blast wave that shattered windows and brought buildings to the ground. The explosion was so powerful that it caused around $15 billion in damage and left 300,000 people homeless. It was a disaster that could have been avoided if the explosive material had been stored safely, but years of neglect led to this tragic event. The video is a chilling reminder of how fragile life can be and how quickly everything can change. For the person in that footage, it was pure luck that they survived, but sadly, many others didn't. Number 15. Shocking flood in China. Captured. severe floods hit southern China's Pearl River Delta, causing major damage and flooding whole cities. Record-breaking rainfall led to a disaster that overwhelmed the area, making it hard for people to protect themselves. In cities like Guangzhou, April's rainfall hit 60.9 centimeters, the most ever recorded since 1959. The floods, driven by extreme weather, led to the deaths of at least 4 people, while 10 others went missing. Thousands had to leave their homes, and the damage ran into millions, with farms and crops wiped out. The footage shows the power of nature as roads turned into rivers and communities disappeared underwater. This disaster raises big questions about the future, as climate change makes these extreme weather events worse. For people living in the Pearl River Delta, the flood left behind a harsh reminder of how quickly life can change when nature strikes. Number 16. Flooding in Turkish city. Floods hit southeastern Turkey, bringing even more tragedy to a region that was already struggling after recent earthquakes. Just 5 weeks after the quakes that caused over 48,000 deaths, heavy rains caused floodwaters to rush through cities like Şanlıurfa and Adıyaman, causing more destruction. In Şanlıurfa, 12 people lost their lives as the city turned into a raging river. Cars were swept away, and even survivors of the earthquake living in temporary homes were taken by the flood. In Adıyaman, 2 more people, including a woman living in a container home, died when the floods hit. Many others are still missing, with families desperately searching for their loved ones. Tents and shelters were also caught in the floodwaters, forcing people to leave their homes once again. The governor urged people to leave ground floors and basements as homes and cars were dragged away. For the people of these cities, the floods were a cruel blow, coming just weeks after they had begun rebuilding their lives. This disaster shows how unpredictable and harsh nature can be, and how quickly life can turn tragic. Number 17. Weather reporter rescues woman during live shot. In an unexpected turn of events, a TV weather reporter became a hero during a live broadcast. While reporting on the aftermath of Hurricane Helene in Georgia, Fox weather meteorologist Bob Van Dillen spotted a woman trapped in her car, surrounded by rising floodwaters. The situation was dangerous, and you could hear the urgency in Van Dillen's voice as he described it to viewers. But instead of just watching, Van Dillen jumped into action. With the cameras still rolling, he stopped his broadcast and waded through chest-deep water to rescue the woman. She was trapped in her car, nearly neck-deep in water, and only moments away from disaster. Without thinking about his safety, Van Dillen lifted the woman onto his back and carried her to safety. The whole rescue was caught live on TV. Later, Van Dillen said he acted on instinct and knew he had to save her. His quick actions turned a regular weather report into a life-saving moment. Number 18. Florida train car collision. A tragic and scary event took place in Florida when 2 separate car-train crashes at the same crossing resulted in the loss of 3 lives within just 1 week. This crossing, used by the Brightline high-speed train, became the scene of a deadly crash when a Chevrolet Avalanche pickup truck collided with a train, claiming the lives of both the driver and passenger. Only 2 days earlier, a similar crash happened at the same spot when a Honda SUV was hit by a train, leading to 1 death and 3 injuries. These accidents have raised serious safety concerns about the crossing, and now the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Video footage from both crashes shows the frightening moment of impact as the powerful train crashed into the vehicles, leaving almost no chance for survival. The accidents have started a new discussion about high-speed train safety, with some people asking if more should be done. like adding better signs or barriers to protect drivers. These tragic crashes remind everyone just how dangerous train crossings can be and why it's so important to stay alert when approaching them. Number 19. Ohio train derailment. In a shocking event, a Norfolk Southern train carrying dangerous chemicals derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, causing chaos and worry in the small village. Dashcam footage from nearby cars captured the terrifying moment when 38 of the 150 train cars jumped off the tracks, sparking a huge fire and fears of a possible explosion. The train, which was traveling from Madison, Illinois to Conway, Pennsylvania, was carrying toxic chemicals that posed a serious threat to both the environment and people's health. Authorities quickly evacuated about 2,000 residents and worked to prevent a bigger disaster. They decided to release and burn off the hazardous chemicals in a controlled way, but there was still concern. Now, residents on both sides of the Ohio-Pennsylvania border are worried about long-term effects, wondering if their soil and water are safe. Officials are testing the area to make sure it's safe, but the community is still on edge. The images of the derailment and the ongoing tests highlight just how vulnerable communities can be when faced with these kinds of environmental dangers. Number 20. Incredible Krakatoa eruptions. The eruption of Krakatoa in 1883 was one of the most devastating volcanic events ever recorded, second only to Tambora's eruption in 1815. Krakatoa's explosion was so powerful that it wiped out over 60,000 people, but its impact wasn't just felt on the ground, it even changed the sky. After the eruption, the ash and gases it released spread across the atmosphere, filtering the sunlight in such a way that it created a rare and strange phenomenon, a blue moon. The particles in the air absorbed the red light, letting other colors shine through, making the moon appear blue. This surreal sight wasn't just a one-time thing. It has been seen during modern Krakatoa eruptions too, and even during large forest fires. But nothing compares to the haunting beauty of the blue moon, seen after Krakatoa's violent eruption. The combination of a devastating volcanic explosion and this strange atmospheric effect created an otherworldly scene, one that remains etched in history as truly unique. Number 21. Rare glowing bugs. Deep inside the limestone caves of New Zealand, something magical happens every night. Colonies of glowworms light up the dark cave walls, creating an incredible blue-green glow. These amazing creatures, called Arachnocampa luminosa, are found only on New Zealand's North Island, and they have been fascinating people for a long time. In the 1860s, geologist Ferdinand von Hochstetter was amazed by their glowing light. Recently, photographer Jordan Post spent over 60 hours creating a beautiful time-lapse video of the glowworms in 3 different caves. The video shows thousands of tiny glowing lights shining like stars in the night sky. For those lucky enough to see it in person, the glowing caves feel like a magical, otherworldly experience. Number 22. Lava engulfs car. In a shocking display of nature's power, lava from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano swallowed a car in just a few minutes, turning it into a ball of fire. The volcano had already forced hundreds of people to leave their homes, as rivers of hot lava flowed through the streets. One of the most dramatic moments was captured in a time-lapse video, showing lava slowly creeping toward a Ford Mustang parked on the road. As the lava touched the car, it caught fire and was completely destroyed, with the lava continuing to flow down the street. This powerful scene shows just how destructive the eruption has been. The lava has already destroyed 26 homes and forced nearly 1,700 people to evacuate. While some people have been allowed to briefly return to their homes to collect important belongings, the situation is still dangerous, and many worry they might not be able to return anytime soon. The video of the car being engulfed by lava is a chilling reminder of how unstoppable volcanic activity can be, leaving destruction in its path. Number 23. Cryptic Gobustan Mud Volcano. In Azerbaijan, there are some amazing natural wonders, and one of the most interesting is the Gobustan mud volcanoes. This region, about 60 kilometers from the capital Baku, is home to a large number of mud volcanoes. Nearly half of the 800 mud volcanoes in the world are found here. The landscape around Gobustan is barren and dry, with cracked soil that looks like it belongs on another planet. The light grey hills stretch on for miles, with no trees or plants to be seen, creating a mysterious and otherworldly view. The mud volcanoes themselves can be small or hundreds of meters high, and they bubble and hiss as gases escape from beneath the Earth's surface, making it a mesmerizing sight. Visitors often climb the taller volcanoes to see the extinct craters that dot the area. But these mud volcanoes aren't just cool to look at. They also have scientific importance. Scientists use them to study what's happening deep underground, and the fluids they release are used in the construction and chemical industries. Gobustan's mud volcanoes are both fascinating natural wonders and valuable resources for science and industry. Number 24. Amazing cliff collapse, caught on camera. In a rare and incredible moment caught on video, a huge section of a 100-meter-high cliff collapsed, sending tons of rock crashing into the sea. This dramatic footage has amazed geologists around the world, not because cliff collapses are unusual, but because this one was captured so clearly. In the video, you can hear the rumbling as the earth gives way, and then you see massive chunks of rock falling into the ocean, kicking up dust and debris. In the background, a woman's voice can be heard, shocked, saying, "Oh my God," while a man worries if anyone might be down below. This kind of collapse happens because of coastal erosion, where waves and wind slowly wear down the cliff over time. Eventually, the base gets undermined and the upper sections start to fall. What this video shows is the unpredictable and powerful force of nature, which can change coastlines in an instant. Number 25. Blood Falls. In the cold and remote McMurdo dry valleys of Antarctica, there's a strange and fascinating sight known as Blood Falls. This waterfall, found on Taylor Glacier, flows in a deep red color that looks a lot like blood. But don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. The red color comes from salt water that's full of iron, trapped under the glacier for thousands of years. As the glacier moves and cracks, this ancient water seeps out. When it meets the air, the iron in the water rusts, turning it that bright red color. What makes Blood Falls even more interesting is that the salty water contains tiny organisms that can survive in these extreme conditions. Scientists call them extremophiles, and their discovery has led to exciting ideas that similar life forms could exist on other planets or moons with harsh environments like Antarctica. Blood Falls isn't just a cool natural wonder to look at. It also gives us a glimpse into how life can survive in the most difficult places on Earth. That's a wrap on these amazing 1 in a billion mysteries. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more exciting content. Have a favorite discovery? Drop it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.